This program is part of the Cosmic Potato Podcast Network. For more shows like this, visit our website at cosmicpotato.com.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
I am Iron Man. That's a big twink.
Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds.
You are a toy!
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Why so serious?
The city's flying. We're fighting an army of robots. And I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
And welcome to World War G episode 229. I'm Troy.
I'm AJ.
Okay. So I found this list. Every Batman movie ranked worst to best.
And I've read a lot of articles by Screen Rant, and they're pretty, for the most part, pretty reliable source.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I enjoy their articles, so it'll be interesting to see, you know, where they actually put them.
Yeah, we'll see if we agree or not here. Okay.
Now this is like live action ones. This or animated as well.
I think it's just live action.
Okay.
All right. So worst, you could probably guess, Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
As the worst Bat. And I would absolutely agree with that. There are so many problems with this movie. I did enjoy it as a kid.
Right.
When I saw it.
It's like going back and watching the second Ghostbusters movie. Right?
Yeah.
You're looking through it through different eyes, and as much as I liked the puns, and I thought Mr. Freeze was, you know, kind of witty, no, it was bad. And even that whole scene with like Poison Ivy.
Yeah. Because I remember being a kid, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I got all the action figures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I really liked it. But man, you watch it now, and it's just
pretty rough to get through.
Oh, man. Okay. Next, Batman v Superman.
Martha.
Yeah.
We've talked about this like numerous times on the podcast. How we could have made the movie so much better in just a couple of things. You know, you have Bruce Wayne pay Lex Luthor to come up with something to stop, come up with an idea to stop Superman. Lex Luthor uses it to create Doomsday, and then they both, Superman and Batman, have an invested interest to stop Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yep.
The movie. Not all these different like side tangents, and I didn't care like about Lois Lane's, the direction they went with that, and
I mean I was so excited when the preview hit. I thought, oh, that looks pretty decent.
well, because it was off of like more Public Enemies, right? Is what they were basing it off of, or Batman v Superman. They drew influences from a couple of different.
They drew influences from The Dark Knight Returns.
Mm-hmm.
That's where a lot of their influences came from.
Okay.
So like when Batman was suited up in his big armor and that sort of thing, and like The Dark Knight Returns, they made Superman out to be kind of an idiot.
Yeah. Which you've talked about this before, that Superman, he has super intelligence.
Yeah. His brain is a muscle. I mean, the brain is a muscle, so that would go to what am I trying to say? That would stand to reason that the brain would be affected too, just like everything else in his body. But no, it's like when Batman shoots that kryptonite grenade at him the first time, gets him fine.
Yeah.
Then he does it a second time, and the exact same thing happens. I'm like, you have super speed, man. Just get out of the way.
Yeah. Don't fall for this.
Take that armor and tear it off of him. And I mean, it's just.
As much as I would love to think that Batman would stand a chance against Superman, like if I'm not looking through my Batman tinted glasses, I would have to say like Superman would kick his trash.
Yeah.
Unless Batman's got kryptonite and a ton of time to come up with something.
Yeah.
But even still, yeah.
Yeah, it was just a mess. Just a mess. But people want to see Zack Snyder's version of Justice League.
Yeah.
Even though they hated his Batman v Superman, but whatever. That's the internet for you. Next one, Batman from 1966.
Okay. The Burt Ward.
I don't think this is entirely fair because
Adam West purposely made it.
Yeah.
It was meant to be a spoof.
Yeah, it was meant to be campy.
Uh-huh.
And they were going straight from the comic books at the time, which were campy.
Yeah.
That's why they drew the dumb little
Cheap
eyebrows
on
his cowl, and yeah, it looks stupid and it's meant to be stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It's not meant to be taken seriously. And actually, Batman Forever, or not Batman Forever, Batman and Robin was trying to do that.
Yeah.
It was trying to be campy, like the 60s TV show, but nobody knew that's what they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, that's why it failed. Okay.
And I think because you've got these other ones that come later on, you eventually have to throw that one in the mix, but I don't know if it should have been that low.
Yeah.
The 66 one.
All right, next. Batman Forever. A movie that actually did really, really well.
In the box office?
Yeah. It was huge. It was a major hit.
Yeah.
But man, go back and look at it now. It's all right in some parts. I think the way it's shot, I think the cinematography is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I think Val.
You know it's bad when you have to start praising the cinematography though, dude.
The lighting was really good.
I mean, what can I say about it?
The props they use. I mean, and Val Kilmer was a perfectly passable Batman, I think.
He really had the whole Bruce Wayne side of things down.
He did.
He seemed pretty charismatic, and you actually believed that he was an eccentric billionaire.
Yeah. But then you get the villains. You get Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Yeah.
Who was, at this point,
in
the
his
Riddler.
career?
No, the Riddler in the comics wasn't this wacky, crazy, rubbery villain.
Yeah.
Like the Joker. Oh yeah, that's not what he was. Mm-hmm. He was more serious than that.
Unless you go off of the 66 Batman.
Which I think that's what he was doing.
Right, that's where he drew his influences from.
He was copying Frank Gorshin. Mm-hmm. Then you have Tommy Lee Jones, who's also basically doing Joker.
Yeah.
89 Jack Nicholson's Joker. And Two-Face has never, ever, ever in any iteration been a wacky character.
No.
Ever.
No. Well, you do have to realize this is Tim Burton's adaptation, though.
No, this wasn't Tim Burton.
Oh, really?
No, Batman Forever, that was Joel Schumacher.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Then, I don't know where this came from.
It's like, I don't know. It's a Batman movie made by people who have no idea what Batman is.
Yeah.
Or who he is. Which actually was Tim Burton, but he managed to nail it a little better. Next, The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay. I don't know if I would agree with this one.
Really?
Yeah.
I will say of Christopher Nolan's Batman films, that one is my least favorite.
Really?
Yeah, like The Dark Knight #1, Batman Begins #2, and then The Dark Knight Rises. I mean, with Bane and all, it just, I don't know. It felt like they were just trying to do way too much.
And even trying to throw in, shoehorn in Robin into the mix.
Yeah.
That he was really there.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character.
They threw in
cop.
They threw in Bane. They threw in that story where Bane breaks Batman. Then they threw in the No Man's Land story where Gotham was cut off from the rest of the world. And
yeah.
then they threw in Catwoman and then Talia al Ghul, and it just seemed like they were just trying to do too much.
That's true.
Yeah. Then the whole thing with the bomb at the very end, and it just didn't make any sense. And
see, and I'm thinking like I loved a lot of the aspects about the first one, first Batman one. But the only problem with that one for me was actually Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul. I didn't. I don't
you weren't a fan?
No, not really. No. I mean,
he was being Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would be perfectly fine. I just felt like they needed some sort of a bigger bad threat. Ra's al Ghul, I don't know. He's human. He's a martial arts master.
I can see where they were coming from though, because when you start out, you don't want to go too big. Like
right.
you don't want to introduce the Joker in the very first movie. And,
some of your bigger characters.
Yeah, you want to save that. So I get that they were trying to do a more of a domestic,
grounded one, introduce like dipping the toe in the water kind of a thing.
Exactly. All right, next. Oh, we are doing animated. Batman: Mask of the Phantasm.
We're doing there's so many other Batman movies then as well.
Well, they're throwing in a few animated ones.
Okay.
This one is really good. Mm-hmm. Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. It's based off of. It's continuing the story from the animated series, Batman the Animated Series. And I think it was like the first. I just watched a video on this the other day. It was the first animated feature-length Batman movie, and it actually appeared in theaters.
Oh wow!
On Christmas,
for like a limited time.
Yeah, well, it was supposed to be not for a limited time, but it appeared in theaters on Christmas Day. And it did not do well. Later on home video, it did very well.
Yeah.
And people praise it now, but then it didn't do much.
Unfortunately, that's what happens a lot of the time, unless they throw a huge budget at it and get a better cast. Just because you had that one like TMNT, which, I mean, did really well after the fact, and people praise it, but when it was in theaters, it didn't do super well.
Oh, the one that came out in 2007?
Yes.
That one was good.
It was really good, yeah. Like, I thought it was a solid movie.
That's one of the best Ninja Turtles movies.
Oh, for sure.
In my opinion.
Yeah. See, it's difficult, like, because then you have the Batman Lego movie, right? Which, because it's got, like, a huge cast in it, and it's backed by a lot more money, I think that's why it did a little bit better.
Yeah. Next, Batman from 1989.
Okay.
Tim Burton one. I have a special place in my heart for this movie. I've seen it dozens and dozens of times. I was this close to rewatching it in the theaters when it came out, but I had to work. And that really pissed me off. I was at the DI.
Okay.
It was only just like a couple months ago it was re-released because it was the 30th anniversary. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. I wasn't able to see it.
I will say that out of all of these movies, I think they seriously nailed what Gotham City looks like.
I think so too.
Right? It's pretty spot on. It's dark. It's gloomy. It's got gargoyles. It's got like everything, like huge like skyscrapers that just go on for days. Yep. Like when you think about a city that Batman's patrolling, that's the Gotham City that I think of.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Which is in stark contrast to, this happy-go-lucky place that Superman's, defending, like...
Yeah. Metropolis.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, Metropolis has always been very bright and futuristic and...
New York.
Yeah. It's New York versus Chicago.
Yeah.
Gotham City, Metropolis, yeah.
Or Detroit.
Or Detroit, yeah. Next, Batman Begins.
Okay.
I will say, though, with Batman Begins, even though we talked about it a little bit, this was really the first time that Batman was taken super seriously.
Right.
And it was from people who knew Batman, who got the character, and they weren't trying to make it a comic book movie. They were trying to make it just more of a crime thriller adventure movie that happened to have Batman in it.
Yeah.
And so I think because of that, it's although going back and watching it again, I mean it's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's fine.
It does have one of my favorite Batmobiles in it. I actually really like this one that's able to like jump buildings, and it seems like it's a tank kind of a thing. I mean, it like all of these other ones up until then, you know, Batman's having to deal with like wings on the side of it, you know, or like it
seemed very impractical.
It did.
Yeah. This
This one actually seemed pretty practical, and I love that they also put the Batmobile or the Bat bike inside of it. That's pretty legit.
Yeah, I posted some on our Facebook page about what's your favorite Batmobile. And mine has always been the '89 Tim Burton version.
Right.
With the animated version a close second.
Okay.
That really long Batmobile. I really like that. Yeah, but I've always liked the '89 Batmobile.
Well, okay, you're talking with the animated one. I love how like it just like the front of the hood or the front of the cockpit, I guess, you know, slides down, and then he can just like jump out on like whenever he wants. Yeah. And with the Tim Burton one, I do like that it looks almost like there's like a fire inside of it that's caged.
It looks mean. That's what I like.
It looks really aggressive. Yeah.
I've been able to see that car up close and personal a couple times, and it looks, man, it's cool. It's a cool looking car. Anyway, next one. Wow, I do not agree with this. Batman Returns. That should not be this far down on this list.
Yeah.
Because it is not great. It's like a Ghostbusters 2. You liked it as a kid, you go back and watch it, and it's like, this isn't good.
No, it's not.
And I can't believe I liked it so much as a kid.
Because did I have horrible taste at one point in my life?
Because I clearly didn't get any of the jokes.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of adult humor in it. Penguin at one point says, when Catwoman shows up, he says, "Just the pussy I was looking for."
Yeah.
I'm like,
wait, how did I not catch that?
Yeah. Like, I didn't even hear that line until
he made a couple of fish jokes as well.
He did.
Yeah.
Talking about his French flipper trick and
yeah.
Bleh.
I don't really no. That shouldn't have been. This should not be there.
This movie had Happy Meal toys attached to it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how campy and cheesy it is. You can get a side of fries with this movie.
All right. And then finally, The Dark Knight.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. So Screen Rant is saying that after The Dark Knight, it's Batman Returns? No.
You're wrong, Screen Rant.
I'm sorry. I can't get behind that.
And I don't even know where I'd place it, but it's way further down on the list.
Yes. I would place it. I would place it maybe between. I would place it between Batman and Robin and Batman v Superman.
Yeah, that seems like a better fit.
Not second to first place. That's crazy. Anyway, The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is a near flawless film.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a good movie. It's a good crime movie. It's a good police movie. It's a good superhero movie. I mean, it ticks all the boxes.
It does. Like right from the get-go. The bank robbery scene.
Oh yeah.
Right? I mean, it hit the ground running, dude, and it didn't stop until like the credits rolled.
I remember I saw that scene in front of another film. I think I saw a film in IMAX, and they showed that scene, and I saw it in IMAX. I was blown away.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never seen something like that in a superhero film.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Heath Ledger as the Joker, I mean, he just... Man, just nails that character.
Like, and you'd like to think a lot of it, and some people might say, well, because he passed away, that you have to, obviously you have to put, give it a little bit more credit, but that's not the case at all. He did a fantastic job with the Joker.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think now anyone after him will be compared to him.
Right.
Like Jared Leto, who played the Joker in Suicide Squad.
He set the bar.
People were comparing it to Heath Ledger.
Right.
And Jared Leto, I think, failed miserably.
Like some of it, it's a little bit better if you watch the extended version, because then you actually get to see, he doesn't seem like he just randomly shows up out of, for no apparent reason. But even still, yeah, no. Which sucks because, there's certain characters and there's certain roles, especially in the comic book world, that you can't see anybody else playing this character, and no matter what they do, they're going to be compared to this other person.
Yeah.
Which is difficult because you'd like to think, oh no, they could make it their own and do their own thing, and it would work out perfectly. But at the same time, people are still going to make that comparison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Let's move on here.
Moving right along. So Baby Shark. They are you've now heard the song. Actually, I think I played the song for you for the first time, right?
You did, yeah.
Yeah, you and Colton. Well, no, Colton had heard it.
Colton had heard it,
he knew all the lyrics, and he was even singing along with it.
Well,
dude.
Colton has kids.
Yeah. But they are making a Kellogg's is making a Baby Shark cereal. And if it does make it to our great state, I think we have to do a taste test for sure.
Yeah.
This is the first time that I've ever seen a children's song or a song in general actually make its way over to cereal.
Yeah, the Kellogg's is definitely capitalizing on this.
But are they a little bit late to the game?
I would think so, yeah.
Right? If they didn't within the first month of this song, because now they've had all these different remixes, and it's kind of run its course, and it's at the tail. It'd be Kellogg's introduce a fidget spinner cereal.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just
with little corn fidget spinners. And you get a free fidget spinner in every box. Which they could do now because there's billions of them that nobody's using.
Right.
You can't even give those away anymore.
No, you really can't.
I mean, there are people at conventions, like comic conventions and stuff, that go around with bags of just free fidget spinners.
Just handing them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one will take them.
Oh, you want a free fridge? No.
Yeah. So, I always like the fidget cube better.
Yeah. Where it's got a couple of different sides and it's got different things on it.
I have one right here, actually.
So it's got basically a PlayStation controller, right?
Yeah, and I need this ball. Because I fidget.
Yeah.
I always have to be doing something with my hands. And so, yeah, you got a little...
controller.
Yeah. Controller there. Got buttons there. You got a little spinny thing and a little light switch looking thing. And, yeah.
Huh.
Now, I fidget so much that there was a fidget thing I bought on Amazon. It was it was fairly priced. It's about $10.
Yeah.
I mean, it had a lot. It wasn't a cube. It was a fidget, I think it was octagon or something. I don't know. It had a lot of sides.
I used to all the time with a pen, just click a pen constantly.
All these on all my mechanical pencils are gone.
Yeah.
But I bought that on Amazon and I fidgeted with it so much that I broke it.
You fidgeted the life out of it.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of any other song that is capable or could have been turned into a cereal.
Ice Ice Baby, Vanilla Ice.
Okay.
Um,
Gummy bears.
yeah.
Gummy berry juice.
But
But really like a song that like hits
some other
that
stupid,
Gundam style
yeah,
cereal,
stupid novelty songs.
right? That just like run their course.
I think there was a Ghostbusters cereal.
Okay.
See, and that's the thing. This cereal will be it'll be gone to history, just like the Nintendo cereal, just like the Mr. T cereal, just like the Star Wars cereal.
Think it'll actually like people. I mean, if you were to buy a box and save it, do you think someone would pay you like eventually down the road $20?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Honestly, unless 30 years from now, kids are looking at this time as in the same nostalgia glasses that we look at the 90s in.
Right.
So then they want to buy everything that was from this time, from 2000 to 2020.
Yeah, but who'd really want to hold on to a Baby Shark box of cereal for that many years?
There are people out. You can still buy full boxes of cereal, like the Nintendo cereal and like the Ghostbusters cereal. It's still out there.
Yeah. Nah.
You don't want to eat it, but it's still out there.
Kind of similar to our episode 1 soda that we drank.
Yeah. Ah, boy. 15-year-old soda that we drank.
Get PTSD.
Yeah. More you than me because you downed every one of them.
I didn't want it to go to waste. Although there was one can that didn't have
they
any
already went to waste a long time ago.
There was one can that didn't have any soda in it.
No, it had evaporated.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, I saw a picture actually with those cans, and it brought back flashbacks. Yeah, I had those cans for so long. Wow. I was obsessed. I was obsessed with getting every single one.
With those cans?
Because I was obsessed with episode 1. I wanted everything from episode 1. Yeah. Believe me, I've since learned my lesson.
Yeah.
The only thing good about episode 1 now, at this point, is like Darth Maul.
Right. Ray Parks is awesome.
Yeah. And Obi-Wan. They're pretty much the only good thing. But
yeah.
Anyway. So, you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood yet, have you?
I have not.
Neither have I. I plan to, eventually.
I've heard it's
mixed.
decent. Yeah, mixed reviews.
Yeah, so have I. But because it takes place in the 1960s, I believe it's 69, there are a bunch of homages to old Hollywood at that time. One of which is Bruce Lee. Because he was a big star at the time, and so they kind of use him in this little, I'm from what I can gather, a little fight between him and Brad Pitt's character.
Well, you even see it in the trailer a little bit.
Yeah. However, Bruce Lee's family, particularly his daughter, not happy with how they portrayed him.
Really?
Yeah. She says... Okay, let me go back a little bit. In the cameo, Bruce Lee, played by actor Mike Moe, challenges Booth to spar, Cliff Booth, that's Brad Pitt, to spar outside the set of Lee's TV series The Green Hornet. Lee is introduced, holding court for everyone who will listen, bragging that he could beat boxing champ Cassius Clay, a.k.a. Muhammad Ali, in a fight. He says, "My hands are registered as lethal weapons." But after talking a big game and playing up his signature mannerisms and outsize confidence, knocking Cliff down in the first round, it's Lee who gets unceremoniously thrown into the side of a parked car by the stuntman before others intervene. The scene has offended fans of Lee, and it has offended his family. Lee's daughter, Shannon Lee, called the depiction, quote, disrespectful and a mockery of her late father's legacy. She says, this is a full quote, I understand this is a Tarantino film, that the movie characters are anti-heroes, and that this has his characteristic style and is another of his rage fantasies. While I understand that, the mechanism in the story to make Brad Pitt's character out to be such a badass that he can beat up Bruce Lee, the script treatment of my father as this arrogant, egotistical punching bag was really disheartening, and I feel unnecessary.
It's more understandable, and coming from the family than just fans. Fans of Bruce Lee getting upset about it, where it's actually coming from the family.
Yeah.
It has a little bit more validity to it, and I do think that she thinks, at least from the article, it kind of sounds like she thinks the fighting style was okay. She just didn't really like the way that he was, like his acting or how he was actually portrayed.
He was portrayed as being... she doesn't like that he was portrayed as being extremely arrogant.
Yeah.
And had this giant ego, which from all accounts he did not have.
He was more humble about everything. And he seems to me more like a Jackie Chan kind of a character. Yeah, he's recognizes that he's got some skills and he's showed it off and flaunted it at times. There's videos, clips of him doing like extraordinary things. But yeah, he seems more a mix between Jackie Chan and Gandhi.
But I don't think Bruce Lee ever did that type of stuff, just, out in public, just, challenging someone to a fight. Bruce Lee never did that.
See, it seems a little out of place.
Yeah. The only time he ever showed off his skills when, he was filming something or, it was for a charity or that sort of thing. That's the only time he ever did that.
Yeah.
And I think anybody who knows Tarantino films knows that these are going to be over-the-top characters.
Right.
One. And two, anybody who knows Bruce Lee knows they can probably separate the two and know that, okay, this version of Bruce Lee, this Tarantino version, isn't the real version, and, vice versa.
That, and I believe that the family had to give the go-ahead to say, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah,
it's a Tarantino film. Here you go. We'll take, a large check, and then I guess they had a little bit more faith in Tarantino to do their father justice, in his portrayal.
Yeah.
But,
because Tarantino has always been a massive fan of martial arts films.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense that they would think, okay, they're going to have Bruce Lee in there. He'll make it super respectful because he's such a fan, but...
He kind of over-embellished the character.
A little bit.
And they don't,
Yeah.
They don't like that at all. From one fighting superstar to others, Fast and Furious stars have in their... I found this really interesting. Fast and the Furious stars have in their contract that they say that they cannot lose a fight. It was also we're talking about Vin Diesel, Dwayne Johnson, and Jason Statham. That they have written in their contracts that they can't lose any of the fights that they go up against, any of these villains or any of these other bad guys in these movies, in this whole franchise. And they've also got it to where if they do get hurt, they have to be able to hurt their opponent, not lose, but at least deal as much damage to them as they took.
Right.
Yeah, so it's equal. So he stood his ground, and then he comes back from not necessarily losing, but just taking equal punches to beat the guy.
Yeah.
That
it's ridiculous, and it makes it so the films aren't interesting.
No, when you know that they can't lose a fight.
Yeah, they're gonna come out on top every single time. Yeah. I mean, what fun is that? And it sounds to me and as much as I love Dwayne Johnson, it just sounds like macho posturing, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, we're so big and tough that we can't lose.
Right.
Because it just sounds like meathead jock mentality.
It really does come across that way.
If we're shown losing, that means somehow that we're weak. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Some of the greatest films, especially when we're talking about like, you know, these action films, some of the greatest ones are where they lose and then they come back and win the next time, but they initially lost, right? And they rose up to the challenge. You know, Rocky, for example, right? One of the greatest comeback. Like he went the distance. He didn't necessarily win, and he even got beat. You know, in some of these ones.
Yeah.
But it makes it so it's more relatable to us because we're not always gonna win. You know, we can't put a clause in our lives. No, we're only gonna have good things happen to us. You know, I don't know. It kind of takes you out of the moment. I don't know what
It does. It just takes some of the entertainment away. Knowing this, and I'd heard this before. I knew that Vin Diesel had it in his contract.
I didn't think that The Rock, if anybody, right?
And now that I think about it,
have they lost a fight?
No. I was thinking about The Rock in his other films.
Right.
I don't think he's ever shown to have ever lost a fight. No.
Even when they're fighting dudes that are like twice as big as them, right? Which there are, like, believe it or not, there are bigger people out there, and they still end up winning.
Yeah.
The one fight that I think of is that huge dude that Vin Diesel was fighting in the airplane in one of them.
Yeah, whatever one it was.
Right? But the guy seriously stood over him by at least like 2 feet, and his biceps were the size of like Vin Diesel's legs. Like it was just not even a fair fight. I'm like, this dude's gonna get crushed, you know? And then he flies at him and wins. And
yeah. I mean, it's like those movies were written and produced and directed by the penis of a jock. I mean, honestly.
Like, I can't lose. No, nobody can beat me.
No, it's gonna be fast cars and hot women and guns and fight scenes. And everybody's gonna be really muscly because they work out all the time.
Hey, where do you find the dime?
Yeah. And they're gonna drink beer because that's what men do, bro.
Yeah.
Gonna race cars, bro. That's what men do, bro. You know how they say bro at the end of every sentence.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we need to like macho up this podcast here a little bit. Try like put some testosterone in here.
There you go.
It was empty. Don't worry. I grab a water bottle, crinkle it up, and throw it to the ground.
And you notice when I said, there you go, my voice cracked?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was real macho.
Yeah.
Real macho.
We should do that. All right.
What a time for my voice to crack. Yeah. Anyway. Going back to Batman movies here for a second. Bruce Campbell, star of, the Evil Dead movies and all that.
Yes.
Know who he is. Bruce Campbell says, stupid, quote, stupid, Batman v Superman shouldn't have been made.
Agreed.
Yeah. This is what he says. This is his quote. And I'm kind of skipping ahead here. He says, quote, but these guys who have this special superhero power, to me, that's Snoresville. If you don't have kryptonite, then Batman v Superman. Then, if you don't have kryptonite, then Batman v Superman. Stupid, stupid, stupid concept. Never should have been made. Superman, who can, make the world go backwards with centrifugal force. Batman can't do that. Superman can freaking fly. He's a man of steel. All he has, one hand on Batman's esophagus. The story is over. So they spent a lot of money kidding themselves. I didn't realize the quote would be pro-Superman. I swear, I didn't read the story. No, I did not read the story ahead of time.
All right.
That's pretty much what you said. I mean, if you take off the rose-tinted glasses that all Superman or Batman, well, and Superman fanboys have, I mean,
It's not much of a fair fight.
no, it's not.
A human versus, like, basically a god.
Pretty much.
Troy, like, grins. He's just like, AJ finally, like, gave Superman a compliment. I don't know, like, I agree with this, but at the same time, I don't know where Bruce Campbell has any right to really talk about this franchise.
I'm sure he was in an interview and somebody asked him.
Right, I understand that. I'm just saying, you know, a lot of the times we make fun of even Mark Hamill when he chimes in about, like, Luke Skywalker, which he has more right to give an opinion on Luke Skywalker than, like, you know, a lot of other people.
Yeah.
But then, like, with Bruce Campbell, where he's not even in the franchise of Batman, you know, at all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, then the argument could be made, what right do we have to comment on any of this stuff?
That's
right?
Very true. That's a good point. I guess he has made, like, some films, you know, and some other TV shows. And
I mean, I guess he knows story, and he knows what makes a good story.
But then
And
again,
I guess,
it's just I'm just thinking, like, it's just our opinion. It's
Right.
just his opinion, but I don't know. I wouldn't expect anybody. I'm not hoping that, like, with, like, my opinion, I'm changing anybody else's opinion, because it's just an opinion, you
Sure.
know. But I'm just thinking, I guess, yeah. Had he not, I don't know if he has. This holds much ground. I'm sure he just got asked about this, but it seems a little late to the game, though, right?
A little bit.
Yeah. Like, why not talk on a more relevant, like, up-to-date movie?
Because, I mean, that movie came out in, what year? 2013?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Or maybe was it 2015?
It's been a minute.
I can't remember now.
You're like, back in my day.
Anyway.
In the other news, so speaking of, like, youngsters here.
2016.
Okay.
2016.
So this 16-year-old ended up winning. He beat out it was 40 million players who entered this online competition for Fortnite. Ended up beating out everybody else and took home $3 million in prize money.
Wow.
For playing Fortnite, and that's insane. I did see after the fact, like just yesterday, I saw an article where it said with the taxes that were on this, he really only took home like $1.5 million. Like, they seriously took about half of it.
Yeah, still.
Right? But still, that's an insane amount of money.
And all those parents saying that playing all these video games constantly, it's never going to do anything for you. It's going to rot your brain. It's going to do this. It's going to do that.
Yeah.
Well.
And, like, do you think that this will actually catch on to where a couple of years down the road, it'll be actually shown, like, on ESPN?
Isn't it already? I thought esports was shown.
Like on Twitch and some of these other platforms, but I don't know.
I thought it was on television.
If it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, if you know, extreme skateboarding and
like the
BMX, X Games,
yeah,
and BMX and all that, if they show that on television, yeah, why not? And that's pretty much gone at this point, and now video games are the big thing.
Yeah. Which I think, like, it's just, like, we're just entering into the initial, like, where it's becoming more popular and more relevant, and it's skill building. It already has a huge fan base. It's just out in the, like, public's eye now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I just thought about that. Remember when we were in middle school and high school, how big, like, skateboarding and BMX and all that stuff was.
Oh, yeah.
And the X Games. Like, everybody was doing that. and like the skater culture basically. And now
Video games.
I think there are still those that still skateboard, but
It's not nearly as big.
No, it's not really a thing anymore.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's kind of just shifted.
Yeah.
From outside to inside.
Outside to inside. Yeah.
The second place kid, well, he's 24, ended up taking like 1.8 million, which like it just seems kind of funny. He's like, the grandpa of the group.
Yeah. The 24-year-old.
Yeah.
No, I've never felt as old when I tried to play Fortnite.
What did you think of it?
I didn't like it, honestly.
I like the arena, and it did feel kind of. It reminded me, because I played a lot of it. It reminded me a lot of Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Yeah. That arena kind of shrinking in on yourself. But I don't like the building aspect of it.
Me neither.
And it was difficult when I'm playing on my PS4 to these other kids that are playing on their PCs, and it's so much quicker to like be able to shift over and to build stuff. And like seriously, I've like barely built a box around myself when these other kids built like a whole tower and like looming over you. And they keep like, that's also an issue is with Fortnite is they keep releasing the next season pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And introducing new things like airplanes and all these different mechanics to it, and keep making the game bigger. And if you're not staying up to date on it, and as soon as it drops, you start playing it because that's going to be the new thing that you're going to be like asked to compete in.
Yeah.
It also, I think, like hurts a lot of these other companies that come out with games that they're not like, even Apex, they're not releasing stuff nearly as quick as Fortnite, and that's why it's like kind of dying off, because these kids they keep constantly needing new shiny keys in front of their face to be dangled, like new content, and they're like, all right, when's the next thing gonna drop?
Yeah.
When's the next thing? It's like, I remember like you wouldn't get a DLC for some of these games for about like a year.
Sure.
Right? And now it seems like if you don't get one every like month or two, then like you're not staying relevant, and kids are going to move on to another video game.
They lose interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some kids, Fortnite is like it's like a lifestyle.
Oh yeah.
It's their culture. It's
They eat, breathe, sleep, and talk about Fortnite, dance, like some of these characters.
Those dances.
Right.
Oh. That's why I hate Fortnite. That's the biggest reason I hate it.
Really?
Because it spawned those stupid dances. And that's all that kids do, and they think that they're. Anyway.
I actually, I'm going to take an unpopular opinion here in the podcast.
Yeah.
I actually like Fortnite because it keeps a lot of those stupid kids off other video games that I like to play online.
Right. I can see that.
Right? So then I don't have to like deal with them or even,
Yeah. Like you kids, you have your game.
Right.
You go over here. Let the grown-ups be over here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It does help to like separate and to like, weed out those other kids.
Yeah. Speaking of old things.
Yes.
Apparently, cassette tapes sales jumped to 15-year high.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yep, apparently cassettes are coming back. They've reached their highest sales point in the last 15 years.
How do they even like really keep track of that? Because they're not putting new,
I don't know,
songs or albums are being dropped on cassettes.
Sales are up. No, they are. New artists, instead of doing it on vinyl now, they're starting to do
on a cassette.
Side
1, side 2.
Like Billie Eilish has songs on cassette. Yeah, so sales are up 112% year over year in the UK, with over 36,000 bought in 2019 alone.
Oh, that's so crazy to me.
So now, instead of vinyl records being the hip thing, now they're moving forward in time to cassettes.
Okay. Where is this even like?
I don't know. And what's...
CDs are next after that?
I guess, but people still do CDs, so I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Like somebody's gonna drop something that you can only get on like an original iPod or something like that, or I don't know.
That'd be pretty interesting. That would be. I really think that you would like, especially if you got backed by somebody that actually, made Walkmans or something. I think it would be kind of cool, and there's probably a lot of money in that because it'd be more exclusive, and everybody wants that thing that nobody else has. And it's not like it's extremely pricey that it's out of like anybody's budget. Yeah. Right? I still remember with my very first, my first car I ever had was a 99 Ford Mustang. And if I wanted to play CDs in it, I had to have one of those adapters where you take the cassette that's got the cord attached to it. Right? So I'd put it into the vehicle and then I plug my CDs in there. And then, you'd still have to skip different tracks.
Yep. I remember that.
Right?
Yep. Yeah. And those portable Discmans that you had, those sucked because just walking your CD would skip.
Oh yeah, seriously, because I had it attached to my hip sometimes, and I'd walk and or run or anything else, and it just
it'd skip.
Yeah, it'd skip on you.
Those ones that said skip proof, bull crap.
Right?
Bull crap.
What was did you ever buy any cassettes?
Oh yeah.
I only bought a couple of them. I know my very first one I ever got was Weird Al Yankovic, Bad Hair Day, and I still have that one. And then I also Smash Mouth had one.
I have. See, check it out.
Oh,
I bought
awesome.
these two recently.
Like last week.
When I was working at the DI.
Okay.
I got these.
Yeah.
And it's Batman, Prince, Bat Dance, and A League of Their Own cassette.
That's awesome. And you still have a cassette player somewhere around here?
Cassette player right in there.
Oh, okay.
And so I have listened to this Batman one. I haven't listened to the League of Their Own one yet. But, yeah.
Anything with Tom Hanks in it, Troy's a fan.
That's right. So it's weird. And I think part of it is what we were talking about earlier, the nostalgia culture. Mm-hmm. We crave things all of a sudden from the 80s and 90s, and I'm a big part of that as anybody.
Yeah.
Because that's when life was simple. And so we want to recapture that. So I think having cassettes, is part of that.
I really think that we should release one of our episodes on a cassette tape.
If we...
Right? Wouldn't that be kind of fun? I don't even know how we'd distribute it.
Yeah, how would we do that?
Mail it out to everybody?
An exclusive episode specifically on cassette.
Yeah, like episode 300.
Here's what we'd need.
Yeah.
We have the multi-adapter for the headphones, right?
Right.
So if we had headphones that all have the little microphones in them, which just the standard white ones do, we get a 2-deck cassette player.
Okay.
And we could record an episode on cassette and then just make copies, and whoever wants it, the secret cassette episode, whoever wants it can send us a P.O. box or an address or something, and we could send it to them, and they could play it.
That would be awesome. Okay, so there was this one time that I took this one girl out on a date, and I had in my car, and I actually made her a cassette. I made her a mixtape. Yeah, it was pretty sweet. It had some really cool songs on it, and then man, wow, this is bad. This is cheesy. Okay, so I put on it initially. I put some cool rock songs. We were headed to, because I knew what we were doing on our date. We were gonna go out to play mini golf, and then we were gonna go over and get drinks afterwards. It was Zeppes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Italian ice and. So I put cooler songs on the beginning, and I'm okay, by about this time we'll probably be here, and then and then on the other flip side, dude, I put some freaking thought into this.
You were planning your mixtape to where you would be when you were driving around.
On the date.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I'm like,
You
all
already
right,
thought
well,
about
while
that.
we're eating like Italian ice, we could listen to a couple of these songs, and by about this time, like, I'd be sending her home. And then so, like, it wasn't like so cliche that it was like the Little Mermaid Kiss the Girl, but I did start like putting in other songs that like kind of alluded to hey, let's like turn this more romantic.
Let's get it on.
Right? Yeah. Oh, that's for. Oh, thanks a lot, Brittany. I don't even think she ever knew that I did that for her, but
That's funny.
yeah.
It's funny how we were down playing cassettes and all of a sudden, like, hey, let's put an episode on cassette.
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty cheap, too, because I think we could get a 2-deck cassette player for probably $20.
I thought you were gonna say because like only Joel and Emily would want like.
Well, yeah, there is that.
2 people want like. That's why it'd be so cheap,
And then we could get a pack of cassettes for like $5,
right?
just blank ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you guys think that's a good idea, and if you would actually want something like that, let us know.
Well, I'll even put like romantic songs on the flip side if you want. This is like some of our favorite songs.
We could also make a mixtape,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make them a mixtape.
the World War G mixtape. Yeah. So if that is something you'd be interested in, send us an email, which will
Call or text. Day or
call
night.
or text. Or hit us up on social media and just let us know if that's something you'd be interested in.
Yeah.
Because I'd totally do it.
Done in a heartbeat.
I'd do our super secret cassette episode.
So much potential.
Yeah, it does.
So speaking of different platforms, Ninja announces that he is leaving Twitch to stream exclusively on Mixer. Mixer is kind of the newest streaming. I think it's going to take the place of Twitch, and Ninja, he's pretty smart to lead the charge and already jump ship and jump over to this.
Yeah.
YouTube and Twitch seem to they'll stay around for a little while longer, but I eventually think that they'll have to move on to bigger ones that have more supported servers.
Well, and I also think that something like Twitch or YouTube or any of that, it's getting so overly saturated.
Right.
With everybody. If you were to jump on YouTube when it first started back in 2006, I want to say, give or take, and you were uploading videos, you were like an innovator. I mean, you were on the cutting edge, and now I see old people, grandmas are uploading stuff to YouTube, and so it's
dirty videos, but still.
So I mean, and I'm always on the lookout for hopping on new social media and that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, eventually Facebook, believe it or not, is going to die.
Right.
It'll go the way of MySpace. Twitter and Instagram, they'll eventually go as well. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Do you think that this one will be a little bit more exclusive, that you have to have so many followers to be able to be even accepted on Mixer, or not?
No, if it were me, and this is the one thing that YouTube does, you don't really get any steam until you get so many followers and so many views and so many subscribers and that sort of thing. And then you really start to pick up steam and you can start to monetize things and all that. So I think you should probably do the same over on Mixer. If you want to go on there and try to make it, fine, but
yeah,
you got to really weed out the serious from the non-serious.
The only problem that I foresee with Mixer is that it is Microsoft that created this. But I feel like they're going to do a lot more for Xbox players than they would for PlayStation, Sony. right? Not really cater so much to them, but like there's gonna be for sure an app, on Microsoft that you can just like watch all of your favorite, players on Mixer.
Yeah.
But I mean, they'll eventually cross-platform and bring it over to like Sony, but I just foresee them really caring more about their own product.
Right.
Especially where Sony doesn't like play nice anyways with them for the most part.
And I don't know, to me that whole culture, I don't know, the being famous because you play video games and that sort of thing, that's such a flash in the pan. Mm-hmm. It really is. Like Ninja, yeah, he's quote unquote famous right now, but
he makes a ton of money though, dude.
Yeah, but in 20 years, you think he'll still be around?
No.
Let's hope he's saving that money he has.
Right.
Because he's going to need it.
And not just spending it on the Super Bowl. It was New Year's. Or that one event where he actually paid to go up there and do a Fortnite dance. And trying to get, he wanted to get so many people. Do you remember this?
No, I don't remember it.
Yeah, he wanted to get so many people to do the dance all at the same time to kind of set, a Guinness World Record. But everybody that was there, only a couple of people actually did it.
Yeah.
So it kind of flopped, but he spent a large chunk of change doing that.
And I swear, if I see that stupid floss dance one more time, I don't care if you're 8 years old, I'm going to punch you in the face for doing it.
Please let me videotape this, Troy.
I cannot stand it. Because they all think they're so clever because they can do it.
It doesn't take that much skill, kid.
It's here, do a dance that's not from Fortnite, kid.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's see you do the waltz, the Charleston, the cha-cha.
Do the two-step, son.
I thought you were going to say something else. Hey, do the two-step, bitch. As you punch him.
Do the cha-cha.
Two-step this time. Yeah.
So, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has wrapped production on the series finale. They are done. They finally put a bullet in that series and put it out of its misery. Because I don't think anybody was watching it.
No. Not even the people that were on the show.
I would doubt it.
Right?
Yeah, I would doubt it. And I mean, honestly, they only have themselves to blame because you're spinning off from this massive franchise, the MCU, but you never capitalize on it, really.
No. They tried to a couple of times by having, crossovers and cameos.
Yeah.
But something that big that Marvel can't fail, they sure, really screwed this one up.
I think they didn't even acknowledge the snap or anything like that on the show.
Really?
I don't think so. Because I don't know, I haven't watched it in years at this point, but if I remember right, I remember reading something. They didn't even acknowledge
allude to it.
Mm-mm.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's done.
Which I didn't even think it needed to be made in the first place.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they were going to make it, I think they went in the wrong direction. Because I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. could have been a cool type of a spy series, espionage series.
That's where you could have had a Black Widow on there, right? Hawkeye.
Yeah, that's where. Yeah, that's the direction they should have gone instead of whatever it was that they were doing.
They dove way too much into politics and everything else about it. And
it wasn't interesting.
No.
And because it was TV, you couldn't have the big budget special effects that you could have on, the movies and stuff. So it's not like you'd have people really with any sort of superpowers. And even if they had superpowers, you could only show the superpowers once every 7 episodes or something.
Right. Well, I mean, shorten it up, condense it into a couple of seasons, get a bigger budget, and you got that Disney money.
That's true.
So, I mean, we just last episode we just talked about The Boys.
Yeah.
They had a decent budget and they made something awesome, right? And it's pretty short, concise, to the point. Do something like that.
Absolutely.
Speaking about streamers, this Chinese vlogger who used a filter to look younger was caught in her live stream. There was a glitch that took place, and did you see the picture where she kind of looks like nothing alike?
Yeah. That's crazy.
This to me, if anything, it almost like makes me feel kind of sad that there's such a, you have to have like a certain body type, or you have to be a certain, attractive person in order to get like a decent following.
Yeah, you do.
You have, which I don't know, which kind of sucks. Like, it doesn't have like so much to do with their skill unless they're one of the elite players, and more to do with how they look.
Yeah.
In order to get followers.
Yep. Yeah, especially if you're a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think guys can get away with it more, but even then, if you're a guy and you don't have a certain body type, you better be really funny.
Right.
And if you're going to get any sort of follower.
It reminds me like all too much of like high school all over again. Like, it was a popularity contest.
There's that song that says high school never ends. It's very true.
Yeah.
It never does.
Which is kind of unfortunate, because that's how she initially got all... Like, it'll be interesting to see the aftermath if she loses like a ton of subscribers, or if she keeps up this whole, she embraces the glitch, or if she actually just and continues on, or
embrace the glitch,
right,
ladies and gentlemen. Embrace. That's what we're trying to say. Live your truth.
Yeah.
Embrace.
Live your
glitch.
best life, kind of a thing.
Don't worry about filters. Don't worry about all that stuff.
But do you think she would get nearly as many, like, she was at like 100,000 followers? Over.
I would be interested to see if she's lost any.
Because like, oh wow, she's not as attractive as what I thought she was. Yeah. Okay, I'll move on to somebody else.
Now it's going to be hard for me to masturbate to her while I watch. I mean, let's be honest. That's probably what those disgusting gamer people were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. So my last story that I wanted to bring up, especially with Lion King still being in theaters, some of the original Lion King animators aren't too happy about Disney's remake. One of the guys was this like, if you pulled in the crew from the original, most of us would say, why? Did we really need to do that? It kind of hurts. It makes like what we did not seem so great. Like like it wasn't good enough.
I get it.
Right?
I get like those animators put in thousands and thousands of hours of work putting that movie together.
Seriously, this guy, like, his sole job was to just work on that circle of life scene.
Yeah.
Is what he was talking about. That he like put so much time and effort, and like so many like pictures went into making this one scene.
Yeah, no, I get where he's coming from.
But isn't that also the most sincere form of flattery? By creating imitation, yeah. Right?
And from what I've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's pretty close to the animated version.
It is. It's pretty spot on. They took a few liberties, not nearly as many that they did with like Aladdin. They actually stayed a little bit more true. Even with the songs, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I was thinking about this, if I was like an animator and I made this movie and then they make a remake of it, but it's still Disney that's making it. It's not
right.
Like it's another like company that doesn't know anything about the product.
Right. And I don't know if those animators are they still working at Disney? Do they still have jobs? I mean, putting on your resume that you were one of the animators for The Lion King,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, that'll get people's attention. So,
and it doesn't seem out of place. Like, I think that only more people would go back and watch the original one.
Yeah,
right. And want to like watch it over again to kind of have a side by side and to relive the magic.
I mean, and like I said, I can see where it's coming from, but on the other hand, their film isn't going anywhere.
No.
It's not like it disappeared. I mean, it's still there. Look, it's right there, VHS, right there.
Right?
So, I mean, but I get what they're saying. And
like, it makes them feel almost as if they didn't do it well enough that it had to be made again.
Yeah, but if they look at it, that's not the case. It's just the culture right now. They're just rebooting everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe to Disney's ultimate detriment. I don't know.
It's raking in that money. It's like over $1 billion.
Yes, it is.
But at the same time, it's not sitting so well with. There's so many mixed reviews on this one. I think with Rotten Tomatoes, it was like in the 50s.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, let's get to it because you saw it.
Yes.
I haven't seen it yet. So what is your opinion on it?
I thought they did a fantastic job with like the entire cast, except for there's one person I didn't much care for.
Really?
Care to take a guess at which character it was?
Nala.
No, Nala was actually fantastic, both young and old.
Timon.
Pumbaa.
Simba. Pumbaa.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen.
Yes.
Really? Why is that?
I thought that like if you look at it on paper, Seth Rogen seems like a perfect fit for, a warthog.
To be a disgusting pig.
Yeah. Right? Okay. I mean, it works perfectly. Although it seems so out of place, and I couldn't unsee Seth Rogen on the screen when I'm watching this movie. It seriously took you out of the movie the majority of the time when he was, which he played a pretty big role. Overall, they didn't skip a beat. They played it pretty close and pretty safe. Scar, I thought, did a fantastic job with it. Even Donald Glover, we already know he's got chops, but
sure.
he did a great job with it. And having was it Morgan Freeman come back and
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones come back and reprise his role. Like, that was the smartest decision they could have made.
Yeah.
It was perfect. It seriously made me feel like I was reliving my childhood all over again watching this movie. I know there was a lot of critics that didn't much care for it, but I thought this was a fantastic close adaptation of it. This and the Jungle Book, I put neck and neck as far visually it was impressive to see the Serengeti and to see these big bigger scenes with these creatures. It seriously reminded me a lot of African Cats, that Disney nature movie that they did years ago.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was a couple of pretty clever, funny moments with some of the songs. They made them a little bit they took a few liberties with it, but pretty straightforward by the numbers.
All right. So what are you giving it?
Out of... Oh, that was the one other thing that I'd like to talk about. I didn't like the look of the hyenas. That was the only other thing that kind of they seemed almost like they had faces.
Really?
Rather than actually being animals. I would be sitting at about, let's see, out of 5 meerkats, I'm probably at about 3. Yeah, it was really. I thought it was a pretty solid movie.
Well, yeah, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's at 53%.
Which I don't even trust them anymore.
Well, here's what I just noticed: 53% from critics. Total count 367 reviews.
Okay.
Now, over on the other side, 88% the audience score, and with verified rating, 62,662
right
reviews. So I mean,
out of that many reviews, to still be almost 90.
still be at 88%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically the critics' consensus is this. While it can take pride in its visual achievements, The Lion King is a by-the-numbers retelling that lacks the energy and heart that made the original so beloved. Though for some fans, that may just be enough.
Yeah, it was.
Well, and here's the other thing. You have to... That's why a lot of times the whole critic thing doesn't make any sense, because with these Disney adaptations, Disney remakes, you have to find that line between not being a shot-for-shot remake, because if you do, people are going to complain.
Right.
But not going so far off the other direction, because if they do, people are going to complain. Mm-hmm. So you have to find that medium.
Balance.
Yeah.
And I think they did it pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's worth a watch. If you're a fan of the original one, you'll enjoy this.
Yeah, I may have to watch the original one again. It's been a long time.
Right?
Because I got burned out on that movie.
After watching it like millions of times?
No, it wasn't me. It was my nieces.
Really?
Growing up. It was on all the time. So it's like, I don't want to watch or see this movie ever again.
Yeah. You're like, if I have to listen to The Circle of Life one more time, I'm going to punch a baby.
Mm-hmm. Or Hakuna Matata.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. So here's where you can find us. You can listen to all of our episodes at worldwarg.podbean.com. We're also on iTunes, Google Play, and cosmicpotato.com. On the social medias, you can find us at facebook.com/worldwargpodcast. We're on Twitter and Instagram, though we don't do much with those. You can find all of our merchandise at shop.spreadshirt.com/worldwarg. You can also email us anytime.
Day or night.
At worldwgpodcast@gmail.com. Also remember, you can call or text the show at any time by calling Joel's line at 385-240-1692. Now remember, we want to hear your opinion on the secret cassette episode, because I think if we get enough people that are interested, I think we might just do it. So,
yeah.
Anyway, so this has been World War G episode 229. That has been AJ.
That has been Troy.
Stay geeky, my friends. And welcome to the end credits scene. So we just heard, you just showed me a little bit of this podcast.
Lore. They've since gone on to make a television show on Hulu.
Yeah.
I think they're in their second season. But yeah, Aaron Mahnke, what he basically does is he's compiled all this research on lore and the mythos behind tons of different topics. Like, I mean, of course he has to hit the big bads like Dracula, werewolves, zombies, but he really does his homework and puts together a pretty concise between 15 and 20 minute episode. He's got over almost 120 episodes, and he'll start out with an intro, and then he just goes in to say, like this one that we were just barely listening to, he talks about where Dracula came from, the son of Dracula, Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
And then he also says, other cultures who had these, certain diseases, they were, always concerned about these different things. When it comes to zombies, he was talking about, in particular, there was this one family with this gal that she, back in the day, hundreds of years ago, she, so I'll just kind of, concisely tell you, her brother died, her mother died, a couple other people died, and then she died. But when she died in the winter months. So they basically took her body and they put it into a cement kind of encase, so it was more preserved than the other family members.
Yeah.
So then when like other relatives ended up dying, and they were like, I think that these people, you know, they could potentially like be vampires. They went back and dug up these other people to see if they'd composed to what they believed to be the proper, like how far composed they should be for how long they've been dead.
Yeah.
But she wasn't. So they actually took out her liver and her heart, put it together, like burned it on this altar that you can still go to see today. And then they used the ashes and made like an elixir, or a tonic, and her brother drank it to try to stay alive.
Wow.
Right? And like from these different other stories and these other like encounters and events and stuff, this is where you get the lore behind why people believe these certain things.
Right.
Aaron Mahnke does like a fantastic job. Like he's pretty witty and pretty funny and just like lays it out, doesn't like have a biased opinion or any like, it doesn't feel like he has any ulterior motive to it. But they're really great. So if you're not listening to our podcast, you know,
yeah.
check out Lore for sure.
Well, and that one, from what it sounds like, to me, there are a couple different like subcategories within podcasts.
Yes.
Like for us, ours is just more of a
pop culture.
Yeah, it's pop culture. It's general discussion. You know, we don't put too much.
There's not too strict of an agenda.
And there's no like production to it.
Right.
Whereas that one, it's almost like he's doing like a radio show.
Right.
Right? Where he has music behind him. He has more of a production value. Like a serial or something like that, to where he has a script laid out and he reads from the script, and which I'm sure he writes himself.
But it doesn't it's not so. I mean, it's interesting enough to keep your attention, and it's also it doesn't come across as monotone.
Yeah, yeah. And see, for me, my personal taste. I mean, I'll check this out, but for my personal taste, I like more of the podcasts. They're just general discussion.
Right.
They're just two people or a few people just having a conversation.
Because then you almost feel like you're involved in the conversation as well. Yeah. You just don't have to talk.
Yeah. And I mean, I listen to so many and watch so many shows anyway that I like the change of just a normal conversation.
Right.
Which is what we tend to generally do on here.
I mean, we'll just bring up like talking points.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I still thoroughly enjoy this one just because like I find all these different topics like so interesting. It'll be interesting to see, cause I haven't like listened to them all. I'm only in like the 20s. And some of them like, honestly, like they're pretty terrifying. Like what these people did, like, to where these different like legends and stuff like the one with the werewolf, this gentleman, like they hunted down this guy and they made him like forced him to confess that he was the werewolf that was stealing these children and like killing all of these cattle.
Yeah.
And then he like confessed to it, and then he also said like, I have this like fur wolf belt that I use that I put around myself, and that's when I can transform. And then he also said he loved the fact, like, he was this notable person just in this like small little village or this community, and he loved the fact that nobody knew that he was the werewolf, that he could transform into this, and he kind of like gloated, and like this is like the dawn of like, this is where serial killers came from, you know, kind of a stuff. These are terrifying because it's all like based in fact, and they're really well grounded. You know, even these supernatural things, they basically, I mean, he just basically says like, this is these people's accounts, this is what they believe they saw, and this is where this lore kind of came from. Right.
See, and if I ever do another podcast down the road, who knows, that may be the road that I go down.
Right.
More of the pre-planned type of thing, more of have a set script and that sort of thing. But that's a lot of work.
Oh, you were saying with even like your top 10, like, or like things you didn't know about these celebrities?
Yeah, my Celebrity 10s videos, yeah.
Yeah. Those take a lot of time, and you have to do some research on it, right?
Yes, it's
and that's
a
only,
lot of research.
like, that's what, only for a couple of minutes?
Yeah.
Not like a full episode, like an hour or so.
Yes, and that's the only reason why one of the reasons I'm so hesitant to do it, because that's a lot of research, and it's a lot of work.
And you're kind of hoping it pays off as far as like actually people listening, or,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
because you put together this great piece, and then you want others to appreciate it.
Yes, exactly. You also mentioned that you, like me, have started watching Cheers.
Yeah.
And we got into a little bit of a discussion before we started recording that the people on Cheers for the first couple of seasons are terrible, horrible people.
They are. You've got Sam, who's like a womanizer who will do and say anything to get into bed with a woman, right? Mm-hmm. You've got Carol, who's constantly like bickering with, like, she is rude and condescending to like patrons.
Carla,
yeah, thank you. Yeah, but she's, and like, especially when it comes to Diane, she's just like, she's ruthless.
And Cliff.
Oh yeah, like they make so much fun of his weight and like his wife and Vera and everything else. Like, they rip into each other. But my favorite character by far is Coach.
Yeah.
Like, I love how at certain points, like, he's, he knows exactly what he's doing and where he's at, and at other times he just like says these random like obscure things that are so hilarious that I love it.
Well, and you're on season 3, right?
I just barely started season 3, so that's the introduction. They've just introduced Frasier into the mix.
Okay. Well, that's the last season that Coach is on, by the way.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry to tell you.
Oh, they better have a good farewell for him.
No.
No?
They don't.
What?
I'll tell you what happens.
All right.
The actor who played him, Ernie, I forgot his name. He died.
Yeah.
Just
mid-season,
like at the tail end of season 3. He was still in the last few episodes because they were pre-recorded, but before they aired, he died. And so season 4 rolls around, and they really don't mention it.
They don't even talk about him?
Woody comes in,
yeah,
and says he's looking for Coach because they were pen pals because they sent pens back and forth to each other. Right. Oh, that's the comedy you get from Cheers. Yeah. And all Sam says is, "No, I'm sorry. He passed away. He died."
What?
And that's it.
Oh.
You get a little something from Diane, who says, I miss him," that sort of thing, but that's it. They don't say how he died. They don't say.
Jeez.
Yeah, don't have any sort of memorial for him. They just move on.
Wow, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's
but
crazy.
Season 4 does pick up and it does get better.
Okay.
They aren't so terrible. They're still terrible people, but it's not that bad.
Okay.
Diane isn't as insufferable as she is in the first couple of seasons.
Oh man. Like, seriously. It's like vinegar and water with them.
Yeah.
With Sam and Diane. They are in season 2. They're just going back and forth at each other. Are they broken up? Are they like, she's like checking his, like making sure she even like would call to out of state place to see if somebody that Sam had said passed away did, like, when he wanted to go on that ski trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's just crazy. They don't even like care about each other.
No, they don't trust each other. They really don't like each other that much.
They have like that hatred, and then they just like hook up.
Yeah. Diane must be amazing in bed. That's all I can figure.
Right?
Because both him and Frasier fall for this woman who whose personality drives me up the freaking wall.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot stand her, and I can't wait till she's off the series, I think starting in season 5. So I'm muscling my way through season 4 till she leaves.
Yeah. And then they don't make a note or bring up that she died as well?
I don't think she died. She comes back, I think, in the last season for an episode or two.
Okay.
No, because she appears in Frasier.
Really?
She made a couple guest appearances in Frasier, yeah. So did Sam, actually. He made one appearance in Frasier.
Okay.
Yeah.
They had to kind of have a cameo, you know, because that's where Frasier got his start. Which you said they're bringing back Frasier, though, right?
Last time I heard, yeah.
That's crazy.
They're doing a reboot.
When did Cheers, like season 3 kind of air?
Well, Cheers ran from 82 to 93. So season
85,
3,
maybe?
Yeah, season 3 would have been 83, 84.
Yeah.
Then season 4 would have been 84, 85.
Wow.
Yeah, so season 4 is the year we were born.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And they were on 3 years before that.
I don't think I've ever found a TV show that I've gotten all of the references. Like, I know this is a random thought, but you've got, like, Cheers, and they'll make reference to, like, these politicians or to other, like, famous people during that time, right? And I don't get them. Like, I get some of them, like, you know, especially when they're talking about, like, Nixon or some of these other, like, presidents, right?
Yeah.
I obviously get those. But I'm trying to think of a TV show, like, even with Friends, when I watched it, like, I didn't get all of the references. Or some of these other shows that I watched from the beginning, I don't know if I get all of the references. There's never been a show that I've gotten, like, all of them.
Well, a big example of that would be when I was a kid watching Looney Tunes.
Right.
Because those were made in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and they talked about politicians and Hollywood stars back then.
Or even the Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Right?
Some of those jokes you didn't get until you were an adult.
Yeah.
And even then, yeah.
I'm not sure if we're just in, like, a weird, like, demographic or age group that, like, we're either getting the majority of them, but then I don't know. Yeah.
There's some jokes, even watching now, Cheers and Frasier and stuff, that I get now as an adult.
Oh, no, I get their jokes. I'm just meaning, like, more so, like, references. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, even Frasier, he'll make references to, like, operas and stuff like that go completely over my head.
Right?
Like, I don't know what he's talking about.
I mean, it sounds fancy and sophisticated.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we did get our education at Ben Lomond, so, you know.
That's true. Ogden, Utah public schooling.
At its finest.
Yeah.
Like, I never let, like, school get in the way of my education, though.
Yeah.
I was read outside of school.
I went to school of hard knocks.
Would there be a TV show that you'd ever want to, like, create and make? Have you given that much thought?
I have given that thought. And I want to see a TV show or something that is based here in Ogden.
Okay.
Because even in Utah, I think a lot of the times this state is not really shown.
Or it's shown in a bad light.
Like,
right?
Like the show Big Love that was on HBO.
Right.
About the polygamists.
Mm-hmm. There's more to this state.
Yeah, it was showing us in a bad light. And so I'd like to see something like what Kevin Smith did with Clerks, to where he shot it right in his hometown at the place he worked and that sort of thing. I'd like to do something like that for here in Ogden.
Any, like, premise of a show, or just, like, I know that you've got the location, but, like, any idea what you'd actually like to do?
Not really. I thought, like when I was working at the movie theater, going back to Clerks, I thought that would have been funny to kind of show and film conversations that some of the theater ushers and stuff had while they were going around
taking tickets and
yeah.
Like, they could even be talking to each other and just be like, dude, like, that popcorn's like 3 days old. I can't even believe they're still serving it. Oh, here's your ticket, sir.
Yeah.
They're just like wait, what?
Like
as they're eating popcorn.
I like to see it like maybe like an Office type of show where it's kind of a documentary feel.
Yeah,
but it's set in a movie theater.
Okay. I could see that, because then you could also have all these different references to movies that are coming out.
Yeah.
Right? And they can make reference to it. I think that could work. I've thought about this, and I would love to do a TV show. There's 2 different ones I'd like to do. I think it would be kind of funny is if you had like a brother who works at a funeral home, and then his other brother who's kind of like, the wayward child, like the rebel of the family. This other kid's kind of by the numbers, and this is the profession that he wanted to go into. And then he feels sorry for his brother who just lost his like job for the umpteenth time.
Yeah.
And so then he gets him a job on the crew, and it's just kind of like that whole mortician, dead people. I don't know. I think it could be pretty funny. You have like his brother sometimes sleeping in one of those like pull out drawers where they keep the dead bodies, right? And pull it out, and like it scares him because like he's like lying there and like or sits up, with a blanket over him. Right? Or I even thought about gone as far as to think about what I would have the intro music be, and it would be The Killers. Are it like Human or Are We Dancer?
Nice,
right? I think kind of keep it that upbeat, similar to like The Big Bang, Psych, one of those kind of shows. That, or I also wanted to do one where it was just a bunch of gamers that are just talking about, like, there's so many different things, like when you're playing like online, and topics and random like funny conversations that me and like some of my other friends have. And I'm like, I wish we could almost seriously make like a podcast of this, or almost like video record it, like everybody at their different locations. And then, you'd have like an episode where it would talk about like people playing music in the background and how annoying that is. And then like you'd have like this like little kid that's just like cussing up a storm that you're trying to like, do you chew them out, or do you like let it be? And then like, I don't know, I would love to do like a video game, because I know that world, and I would love to see it actually. I think it would do really well, especially with the whole, like we talked about earlier, the whole video game mentality and the whole video game. Yeah,
I could see that too. Having like every episode, you're playing a different game, and you have like your main cast of characters.
Yeah,
that's there, but occasionally you'll have different people that show up, and it's just while playing the game, it'd be based around kind of the funny conversations and stuff that they have, and I could see that.
Right. And then like, because it's so interesting when you actually bring a new person, like, so say you're playing a video game and then you go play another one, and then you meet a random like friend online playing that one, and then they send you a friend request, and like you play that one for a while, and then you want to introduce that person into the group, into like, I've done it a couple of times where it's just like throwing out a disclaimer. I'm like, all right, they're really funny, but they swear. Like they're they're like a sailor, or like, oh hey, yeah, like would you care to join? I don't know. I'm always like tentative, and it's weird to have like certain friends cross over into other games with other people. And
well, you did that with me once.
Yeah,
like we did that with what game was it? Now I can't remember, but I was playing with your little group of friends.
Yeah,
and I play online, but I'm not one to like sit there and talk.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't.
Yeah. So it's like all quiet, and I'm like trying to like interject or like, include you into the conversation, because I'm like, I don't want it, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I don't really like doing that. I just like to play my game.
Yeah, focus on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's so many different like random things that you could like talk about that you could actually put together a pretty decent like series.
Yeah. All right. Well, holy cow, we went long. Anyway, it's been a really long end credit scene, but that's okay. That's what these are for.
Exactly.
Don't want to listen to it? Don't listen to it. I don't care.
No skin off my teeth.
Exactly. All right. Well, we will
eventually figure out how to end these.
Yeah. Well, you'll hear us next week.
Oh.